Welcome, everybody. We're back with another episode 6 of the All Elite Murder Theater podcast. We're very, very happy to be here. Good week we had this week. Much better than last week, much better than the Battle of the Belts. We're going to go through our dark and dark elevations like we normally do, and then we're really going to get deep into the massive amount of storylines that are popping up left and right within AEW and with all of the factions and all of the groups that are within AEW. So it's going to be really cool. There's a lot of exciting things happening, a lot of things I'm looking forward to. There's a lot of theories that we have, and we're hoping that our theories are coming true. So we're going to get into it. Let's go dark elevation. Let's start with the best match. Christopher, what do you think out of dark and dark elevation? What was your thoughts on the best match of this week for that?
I had two, actually. The TJ Renegade Twins match I thought was really, really good. Obviously, I love Ty Conti. I love Anna Jay. I love them as a team. I love where their story's been going. I think this whole I hate to say it, but best friends, that gimmick is working really well for them. And the Renegade Twins are legitimately excellent performers. And I want to see more of them. And it was a really good match. I enjoyed that. The other one was the Sonny Kiss Jay Lethal match against whoever it was, Jaden Vallow and Chris Steeler.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Sonny Kiss and Jay Lethal looked great as a tag team. They worked great as a tag team. There was no they just threw them together so they don't know what they're doing. It was like they've been working together for a long time. And They have good in-ring chemistry, and their moves were good together. I thought it was super dope. So the two of those, I'm kind of on the fence with both of them. I liked them both a lot. But I mean, honestly, Elevation and Dark were both really good this week, so I didn't have much to complain about either.
Right. Tammy, what was your best matches? What did you think?
Well, are you balder than I saw you a couple minutes ago?
Who, me?
Yes, your hair, your head looks smoother.
Yes, I did. I groomed today. Thanks.
Okay.
We keep in mind, people, we're in the same house.
Hey, listeners, very
just
smooth. It's
just
very
remember that.
smooth. I'm gonna go make a wish on it after this.
This is how much my wife pays attention to me. She literally saw me less than 5 minutes ago. This is where we're going with this. But anyway, it's called a long marriage right here, buddy. All right, my dear, my wife.
Darling. Best match. Okay. I totally agree with every single thing that Chris just said. I really loved the Ty and Anna one, the Renegade Twins. I actually have them as one of my best new talent of the week. So it's kind of answering two things at once, but you're going to be surprised at what else I put as a really good match. Because it was interesting and entertaining, even though I really can't stand these people. And there's one element of their shtick that is super awkward for me personally. But I have to say, the Gun Club. Is everybody shocked?
Oh my goodness. We all
I'm
are.
actually not. I'm not, because that was a good match.
I try to be fair.
And I can, you can say things about the Gun Club, but you can tell that you still don't hate them as much as you wish you did.
Right.
Well, the ass boy thing bothers me and disturbs me. I'm sorry. It disturbs me. It just makes me cringe. And if they're going for that, that's fine. But what I thought was so cool was when Papa Gunn took over and took everyone down by himself after his sons. What were they upset about? The ass boy thing?
Yeah.
They we're not going to get into the ring with the ass boy thing. I can't even believe we're having this conversation right now about ass boy. I really can't. What is I don't know where this came from, but I feel like there's a little improv with this theater that we love, murder theater, where something happens and then they just go into it. They probably didn't see this ass boy thing coming either. But it really makes me uncomfortable.
So, quick history lesson real fast. Billy Gunn,
good.
back in the day, his song that he used to come out to and what it always said on his trunks, it was I'm an ass man. And there was this whole little deal with it. And he was an ass man. And he was always dancing with his butt, right? And it was it was a self-deprecating almost kind of thing. And then the internet when that started happening back then, they sort of turned it into something else, and there was like some homophobic stuff happening, and then they cut that loose and they stopped doing that as much. And then now that it's being brought back, there's not been any like negativity about it. I think it's just the silly gimmick again, and I actually think it's really funny. And I like the whole like, Dad, you're embarrassing us. I think that's super hilarious.
It is.
It seems very realistic. You know what I mean? Because Billy Gunn, he's 50 something, 60 something,
59,
and he's in like fantastic shape, and he's still out there with the ass thing. Like, I love it. It's like you could not be a more embarrassing dad.
Oh yeah.
So that's what's so cool about having you on this, Chris, is like you can provide perspective that I had zero clue about. So that like makes it so different for me. I still find it awkward. But it makes like at least I know the history, and everybody knows Tammy isn't down with any homophobic stuff, but I'm sure that was just asshole internet people that turn everything into something, you know. That's just the way it goes now when you hear everybody's voice in the world now instantly. But yeah, I think it'll always be weird and awkward, but at least I have a little bit more perspective of where the phrase came from. That makes so much more sense now. And I did love, because I would do that. I'd be like, no, I'm not getting the ring if everybody's yelling that. So I respected that. So, and then when he came in and just did this, like took care of every single person at his age, and you know, and I loved it. So, you know, this is what I love, is I can have a different opinion about people from one week to the next. So that was one of the best matches because it was entertaining, it was unique, it was different, and it was badass. But of course, I also put the Ty and Anna one, and I also put the Renegade Twins as the new talent. I have a couple other mentions for that, but we'll get back around to that question.
So for me, I agree with you guys on pretty much the TJ and the Renegade Twins. The reason I like the Renegade Twins so much is because they have a gig. You know what I mean? They've got a thing, and it's like not a lot of these pairings that are these unknowns or people that are there to lift up the other wrestlers have a gig. So it's like, I think if you have a gig, you have a better chance of going farther in AEW. Because if you look at it, Bear Country's got a gig. You know, they were jobbers for a long time, and now they're getting on the big show because they have a gig. So I think it's really important for the wrestlers. You're going to notice that if they have the gig, they seem to go more, and that's part of it. It's like the best example I could give is like watching a band that's just kind of standing there. You know what I mean? It's like you want the band to have the look, you want to have the background, you want to have everything going on. That's more entertaining. I mean, Slipknot is extremely entertaining because of what their gig is. So it's like, I like to see that in wrestlers. So I thought that was really, really cool. I think that Anna Jay is getting much, much, much better as a wrestler. It doesn't look so choreographed. It looks more natural for her. Mm-hmm. She's really got good chemistry going with Ty Conte. And I mean, I think they get better and better all the time. I'm sure that if AEW instills a tag team belt for the ladies, which they absolutely should, and I don't know why they haven't already, then they're good champions to be within that group. The other match I really liked, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but the Janela Kingston match was a pretty good match, man. Those guys beat each other pretty good. And I thought that was a really fun match. So I would say those two, and of course, Lethal and Kiss together, they're so acrobatic, they're so athletic.
Yeah.
That's a great pairing, and I hope to see that again in the future.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I really, just because they have got, it seemed like they had coordinated moves, and this is like the first time they've ever wrestled, you know? So I thought that was really awesome. So, I mean, looking forward to that moving forward. All right. What did you think, Chris? Who do you think the best unknown were?
So for me, it wasn't necessarily unknowns. It was, again, the Renegade Twins, because like you said, they have a whole shtick and it's rad, and you don't have a lot of sets of wrestling twins out there. They've got a good look. They've got good in-ring chemistry. They know what they're doing. They look good as a team. And they've paired pretty well with everyone they've worked with that I've seen so far. So they're up there, but also for me is Hobbs. And I know Hobbs not necessarily unknown anymore, but I feel like he's starting to be less of a background. And I think he's starting to get more of a real main character, not necessarily a push, but they're building him some so we can get a little bit more insight. I want to see him developed more because I think he's got more to offer than just being a big guy in the back. And I really watching his matches is just, he's a monster. And I feel like there's got to be more to that. Like there's got to be something about his I don't know if it's his mic work they're afraid of or what, but I want to hear him talk more. I want to see more things from him. I was impressed with him this week. And like I said, I know he's not unknown technically, but he needs more of that exposure.
Yeah, agreed. Tammy, who do you think is the best unknown or person that lifted up the stars?
I love everything you all mentioned. I'm a big Hobbs fan, so I just love that. He has like an emotional backstory, that I think is, powerful. And I think that, he is like a big monster, but he has a lot of personality, and I could see him being, in a lot of interesting dramas. And I'm really rooting for Hobbs. But
he could have a great baby face turn too at some point down the road.
Yes, that is so true. Mark this day that Chris said that, because that could happen. Yes, I could see that. I could definitely see that. But one of my favorite things though is the lip curl that he does. Like I love that lip curl of him. So best new talent, I think we're all in agreement. Renegade Twins. They had a lot of personality. They worked great as a team. Fully fleshed characters. But I also wanted to mention Action Andretti, because I thought I liked his flying around a lot. I think he was up with Dante.
That was a perfect match with Dante. That was
so that was kind of cool. Like that was a great match. They were really well suited to each other, and I feel like we could see more from Action Andretti one day too.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty much in compliance with everybody else on this. I thought Action Andretti was great. Renegade Twins. Zach Clayton, I thought was a pretty good one too. But overall, I think that, those guys were the best. So Zach Clayton, he's basically, if you guys remember, I guess he is a reality TV star for Jersey Shore.
In a way. Not as much
right.
as the main cast. He's come later on, and I actually talked to my wife about this recently. Yeah. I guess he's the new boyfriend or husband for Jenny, and apparently he's like way less of a juice head jackass than the actual father of her kids was. I had no idea that this dude was the same guy, and I was like, "Hey, do you know who?" She's like, "Yeah, blah." And she told me this like whole thing. But I thought that was actually really cool to see, actual like pop culture phenomenon, in the crowd, just hanging out. They were in like nosebleeds. That was kind of dope. And he's actually really good.
Yeah, he was. He was really shocked. Good. Yeah. He calls himself the Reality, which I thought was hilarious. So I wrote all that down. I was like, man, he's got some moves too. He went against QT. Obviously, QT probably is training him. So I think they might have mentioned that. But I'd like to see him again, man. I want to see him again. Start build up a storyline between him and the factory or something going on like that. I think that would be pretty fun. So I thought all of that was really cool. Cool, man. All right. So the story push there. I'll start with this. The story push. The only thing that I really noticed, and maybe you guys noticed something else as far as how the storylines are getting pushed. The only storyline I really saw was when Red Velvet and Layla Hirsch wrestled, and there was all that tension, and they were kind of going at it back and forth with one another, and they were supposed to be tag team partners. That was the other storyline, and then the other storyline is I wrote down Gun Club with a question mark. I mean, are they pushing Gun Club into his particular story? What's going on with that? They're on a lot. I think I've seen them like every week for the past 6 weeks on at least Dynamite, at least Dark or Dark Elevation. They've been on almost all the time. So I'm wondering, where are we going with the storyline? Are they going to face the Jurassic Express? how's this going to work, So I'm curious to see about that. But those were the only two things that I really saw as far as storylines pushing over into Dynamite, into Rampage. So I don't know who else. Chris, what did you think? What do you think pushed the storyline this week?
So there's a few things. Obviously the Hobbs thing again. I think they're building him more, and I think you're right about Gun Club too. I think I brought this up a couple weeks ago. It seems like they're just involving them a lot more. And if you're thinking about it, they're very marketable guys. They're both young. They're both athletic. They both look good. I think there's an audience there for that. When you get a young, like real hardworking tag team in a division that's kind of a lot of seasoned guys, I think they're going to fit in well, especially when you're talking about like Jurassic Express and those kind of groups. They need more of that. So I think that's definitely happening. The one thing that I will say, the Garcia Fuego match, I think was sort of setting up for the Sammy thing later on. So, I mean, that was kind of part of a storyline thing. And yes, the Red Velvet, Layla Hirsch, that's getting muddy to me because it's Layla Hirsch versus Statlander. And now Velvet's got beef. I don't know where that's going. It feels not, it hasn't been thought through, I don't think, all the way. Like, what is the outcome with that? I think they're missing something here that can make this more compelling. I just don't know what it is, because you've got three really talented performers who are all very different, who all have a lot to offer, and they're just not utilizing this angle as well as I think they could be.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get into that on Dynamite when they did their promo. So
yeah.
And so okay. So yeah, let's that sounds good. What did you think, Tammy? What did you think was pushing the story this week?
I concur with everything I already said.
All right.
And I have nothing interesting to add, so I won't waste everyone's time.
All right, no problem. Cool. All right, so let's get into it. Dynamite. I thought Dynamite was an awesome Dynamite. Number one.
It was fantastic. It started out great.
So first of all, I'll start with this. First, number one, story time with Adam Cole, baby. So story time, he comes out, and basically it's a challenge to the best friends. Then they pretty much announced the mixed match with Britt and Cole versus Cassidy and Stat. The Bucks come out, and then here's the other sideline on that. The Bucks come out, and their New Year's resolution is saying, we're going to win the belts back. And they're looking at Bobby Fish and O'Reilly, right? And they're like, oh, so now we've got this friendly rivalry. So now we've just split a whole nother storyline off with the Bucks and the Red Dragon. I guess that's what they're calling themselves, right? So then the belts are challenged and the tag titles, and then there was mayhem in the ring, with that whole storyline. Best friends come out, and then they're setting up basically the Rampage match with Trent and Adam Cole. So, Chris, what are your thoughts on story time with Adam Cole?
I might talk for too long here on this. I'm actually so originally I saw this storyline building, and I thought, okay, I think they might be rushing this a little bit. The whole best friends angle versus all these guys, the whole Bucks versus Red Dragon sort of thing. I felt like it was all being like really, really forced really fast, where I want to see this thing go over time. I want to see it, really kind of bloom into a deeper story. But now it seems like that's kind of pushed aside for a second, because now they've introduced this even more interesting thing with Baker and Statlander and this mixed match that's coming up and all this stuff. I'm so glad that they took a breath on this other stuff, because that gives us a chance to rework that story in a week or two or even longer, and keep building it so that there's more tension, more on the line, more stakes. None of them are champions right now. So we need a little bit, we need some more motivation for these guys to really feel like they don't like each other that much. Because right now, I mean, anybody who's watched them all before knows that they've crossed paths many times in the business. I don't think it's like a big secret that any of these people are they're obviously all friends. They're all doing Being the Elite together. BTE every week has just about all these people on it. So I think they need to let this breathe some and really put some more momentum into this if they want it to move forward that fast.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about the Britt Baker thing. It was cool to see them finally acknowledge that relationship on the show, and to bring it in the way that they did with Statlander in the ring, and then she came in, and it was like I was definitely marking out in my chair in my room. It was just, the whole thing was good, man. I just remember being like, oh shit, no way, yeah. It was dope. It was really cool. And yeah, you know, I want to see more of this as much as possible. I want them to utilize this program to bust it off into 5 or 6 storylines, because they very easily can. There's a lot of people involved, and I don't want to see anybody get left, you know, in the background on this, because all of them, every single one of them, has a lot more they can do as individuals and as like different tag teams built into this thing. It's all very cool. It's all very exciting. I'm cautious because I'm afraid that they're going to rush it all and we're going to miss a bunch of stuff that could happen.
Well, the thing about AEW's, man, they don't seem to rush anything.
Sometimes they do, but most of the time they're really good with the long-term storytelling. And I've said that before. Right. And at first this started to feel like it was going to be a short-term program, and it was just going to be a Bucks Red Dragon feud. And somehow Adam Cole was going to be like the prize or something. Right. So I'm glad we're not doing that right now. I think there's definitely more for this.
Go ahead, Tammy, and then I'll go. What did you think of this story time with Adam Cole?
Love it. Yeah. Love everything about this. Like, I think Chris summed up a lot of it really well. I think it's exciting. I'm really excited for a mixed match. I think it's risky, like when you bring a private relationship into the profession. So hopefully that all works out well. But I just feel like everybody is fantastic, and there's so many different things that can, like, great matches that can come from it. So I'm really excited about it. Super excited. I don't think there's any more to add because Chris did such a good job of.
Yeah, that was a great.
I can add something actually. Yeah. I can add something, and this might help ease your uneasiness about the relationship thing. It's not been a secret that they were together. And in fact, there was like a year or so ago or something, Adam Cole was at a family gathering, if you will, of AEW stars. And he was in photographs on Instagram. And there was this whole thing because he was under contract with NXT at the time. Like, oh, he shouldn't be hanging out with them. And you sort of got the idea that like stuff was stirring. And then there was a moment where Adam Cole had a big match. I can't remember who he was facing now, but Britt Baker was actually in the crowd on an NXT show. And they didn't acknowledge her, but they did let the camera sit on her for a little too long. So it was all over the dirt sheets. They showed her on TV, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that their relationship is the type of relationship that can suffer from being put on TV simply because everybody already knew. And they were ignoring it. And to not acknowledge it, that two of your top stars, two of your most over stars too, are kind of a power couple. I think it's actually good that they're doing it.
Good. Well, I'm excited about it because I think they're both fantastic. I mean, I just think they are professionals. They entertain from the moment they step on that screen. Whatever storyline they're in, I feel like they make the most of it. So I can only imagine. And then everybody else involved is fantastic too. So you just have like a lot of fantastic flying around here. So I'm really excited about that. And I feel like it's what we needed after the previous week.
Right.
So it's like, we don't even remember. We were upset the previous week, but now we don't even remember why, because we had a lot of good like surprises and really like great talent coming out with some really fresh new storylines. And this really, I think, was the biggest one. So
and I think they're all so talented and technically great wrestlers that it's gonna make for a fun situation. I can tell you what, this is what I think, and I want to make sure that this is recorded. I think this is setting it up for the Bucks and Kenny Omega against the Red Dragon and Adam Cole. I think that's gonna happen, man. Because Kenny Omega is going to come back, and where's he going to be, right? And then this is where that faction breaks up, and that's where we go. But we'll see. We'll see.
And if he's
I mean-
right, people that listen or watch or however you receive this information, that means we need to have a big gold star for him when he's
I need
right.
a sticker.
Okay?
I need a sticker, a banana sticker.
I like that idea.
Mhm.
I like that angle, but I wonder if there's more to it than that. If we could get more out of it. I'd really like to see Omega and Cole as a tag team. I think
That would be pretty sick too.
Ooh.
Well, that'd be
at some
fun.
point, I'd like to see the two of them, like, you know, the kings of the clique or whatever. It's not the clique. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
The clique is an old school thing. I think it's really cool. The kings of the super clique, maybe. I I don't know. I don't know that I want to see this ever really break up all the way.
Gotcha.
I feel like AEW needs like a powerhouse faction that just
Yes.
eats everything up for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because it opens up storylines for a lot of other talent that wouldn't necessarily be considered as opponents for these guys individually necessarily. Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways that they could do this and stretch it out, but I do think at some point that's bound to happen.
Gotcha. So then after that, we get the promo for the Wardlow Symphony promo, which I thought was pretty cool. That was pretty fun.
That was awesome.
And then we get into Wardlow versus CM Punk. This was what? How many 17 power bombs or something like that?
It
And
felt
he's-
like that. I think it was
like
only
that.
8.
It was like, it felt like 17 power. It was like 8 power bombs. I mean, Wardlow just basically pounded him into the ground. MJF yelling at him, says he needs to finish him. He needs to finish him. Then all of a sudden,
then-
out of nowhere, Punk, pins Wardlow out of nowhere. I mean, it just, and then the rivalry starts, and then Spears jumps in the ring, keeps Wardlow from turning on MJF. MJF's just about to, he grabs his hand. He's getting shaky, getting ready to kick his ass. We're all thinking, this is it. This is when Wardlow's going to turn. It's over. It's over. It's going to be great. And then Spears jumps in, stops him. And there we have it. Now, I'm going to say this. I'll start this. And here's what I feel. And I read it on a magazine, on one of the rags as well. And I kind of thought the same way. I think that this whole thing with Wardlow does take away the rivalry between MJF and CM Punk. I think that it's been more focused on Wardlow than it's been on this Punk MJF rivalry that they've been trying to hype. Did I like the match? I'm going to say I was 50-50 on it, to be perfectly honest with you. I felt that if Punk was going to win, all right, he was too down and out to win in reality. So I don't know if that's part of it, or that's part of his gig, or that's part of his stamina as a wrestler. Because, I'm new to CM Punk as far as that's concerned. But that was my feeling. Was the match exciting? Was it cool for the buildup? Oh, yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. But the tag, when he pinned him, I was just like, I don't know. But you tell me who you want to go, Tammy, or Chris, you want to go? You want to save Chris for last?
Tammy, why don't you go? Because I feel like I say too much, and then
You
it's
don't
like
say
I've
too
said
much
everything.
at all. I am here to testify that you do not say too much. So,
well, I am curious to hear everybody's opinion about this,
Okay.
especially now that I've heard Rafe's. Before I say anything,
all
I
right.
want to hear what you have to say too.
So, first of all, I'm gonna say I can get no satisfaction. That's how I feel. So anyways, that's how this whole situation is making me feel. But so the thing with what Rafe just said about, like, I guess he's not feeling like it was really like, that he should have come back at the end, like, I understand there's that character like from Snatch that Brad Pitt played, remember, like the where he would like be down and out and come back at the very end, but it didn't quite feel that way. It wasn't completely unplausible, but Come on, like nobody's gonna let their precious CM Punk get his ass kicked, and he did get his fucking ass kicked. People, it was bad. Okay, he was powerbombed. We couldn't even agree on the number. That's how many times we don't remember. That motherfucker should have been gone. Okay, he wasn't. I mean,
Can we
it
tell
is
who's a
time.
Wardlow fan
It
here?
is time for an upset here. So, anyways, to my notes. Let's see if I can read them. Epic. At least I thought that. So by the way, I just write these in real time. So I don't know what's coming next when I write them. Epic. Loving Wardlow and the MGF energy in their entrance. Nice athletic jump in the ring from Wardlow. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but he's not normally like, you don't get to see those sides of him. It's usually powerbomb and done. So there's something there. And then put CM rolls away from Wardlow out of the ring. Doesn't want to get power bombed, but then he does too many times to count. Plus thrown on a table. Love the drama. Wardlow loses? How? Interesting ending. Wardlow should have turned. And then I put only, almost, maybe? Come on. It's time. Okay. There's my notes. Chris, you're up.
And on that note.
Okay. Yeah. So the entrance was cool. And it felt different. It felt bigger. Wardlow, I believe, had like entirely new gear, and it actually was pretty sharp. It was less of like big bruiser guy and more of like superstar. He feels very much like a serious contender for any championship they have now. And I'm starting to get the vibe that he's no longer just a one-trick pony. They're giving him little bits of different spots and stuff to try out to see what looks good and what doesn't. And I don't know if that's, people backstage, maybe some trainers, maybe just, co-workers. I don't know where it's coming from, but I feel like there's some development to his in-ring style, which is good because you don't want him to be just another guy that does one move and kills everybody all the time, because that only goes so far. Mm-hmm. I love the War Dog idea. I don't know who started that and when it started, but I think it's a cool nickname, especially when you have a name like Wardlow. Like, you can only say that so many times before it just starts to sound regal in a way. And now it's kind of like they're giving him sort of a name that sort of fits his style a little better, I think. So the whole thing with, yes, he absolutely mutilated Punk for a good portion of this thing. And part of me the entire time was like, all right, when is Punk's switch going to hit and he's going to make this work somehow? And then when it happened, it wasn't surprising for me because MJF is dragging this thing out the whole time. There's all these bits with MJF, do this, do that. And then they did the table spot and it was like this long, reluctant table spot. There was too much dead space in between. And that's like an old wrestling trope. When you have a big guy that does these power moves, if they wait too long, you give your smaller, more athletic guy time to rebuild their stamina and come back, But I think it was like a surprise roll-up he beat him with, which was
he beat him with. Surprise roll-up.
Dumb, because there's no way in a real fight he would have had enough gas in the tank to be able to pull that off and pin a guy Wardlow's size who had zero damage. He took like Nothing. Offense whatsoever.
Nothing.
So I thought that was a little strange. Now I also think it's kind of weird that they're dragging this whole heel turn out. It's not even a heel turn. I don't know if it's a babyface turn at this point. It's weird in AEW because so many people are so over that labeling them a babyface or a heel doesn't necessarily work. They're just over as shit. Yeah. And even if you want them to get booed, they're fucking not gonna be. And sometimes if you want them to get cheered, they're not gonna be. So, and I think MJF is like a great example of that. Like, he's so fucking over, but he's such a dick. And it's because he's a dick that he's so over. And there's this vibe. It reminds me of like the mid-90s where it's actually, you're the baby face if you're a bad guy right now.
Right.
And I think that's working with a lot of their characters, Britt Baker included. So there's an interesting program there. I I mean, what else could we have gotten out of this match? Wardlow wasn't going to beat CM Punk 1, 2, 3 super fast because that wouldn't have made sense. CM Punk is a legend in the business. People love him way too much. They're not gonna be like, you just sacrificed him. But also Wardlow's got a lot of following now as well. He's got a lot of people behind him that weren't gonna be like, okay, CM Punk can just come out here just because he's an older guy and he's a vet and all this other stuff. People love him so much, he's gonna beat Wardlow. I didn't know which way this was gonna go. I'm not surprised, but I am a little disappointed. I do love that when Wardlow like grabbed MJF's fingers, right? I was like, here we go. And Sean Spears was the one that stopped it. And for a minute I went, oh, they're both getting destroyed now. Right. And Wardlow didn't, I would have grabbed a chair and hit Sean Spears with it. And then I would have probably done some kind of suplex to MJF on top of Spears. And I think that's the way I would have wrote that, I think, if I was the pencil in this situation. And obviously I'm not. So I like what they did. I don't know. I'm getting impatient, I think, and that's clouding my vision a little bit. I want to see Wardlow do something awesome. Yeah, I could talk about this for a really long time, guys.
So,
Rafe, I'm genuinely surprised by your opinion.
Really?
I mean, it's Wardlow.
Yeah.
You know? And MJF, you had them both on screen at the same time. I figured you'd have been like, woo! But hearing your perspective now, I'm like, well, okay. So there's probably a lot of people that feel that way as well.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I would have been happier with it if Punk came up with a more innovative way to win. You know what I mean? He's supposed to be the veteran. He's supposed to have a lot of tricks up your sleeve. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, and I figured, okay, he's got a lot of tricks up his sleeves. Now I'm looking at this, I'm like, I know he's not going to lose. Okay, number one, I know he's not going to lose. But so how is he going to win when he's that down and out? So to have that quick roll up like that, maybe that was, you know, I don't see that as a very tricky move, but I kind of thinking that, you know, while CM Punk's done this for so long, there's got to be some other type of way to win this match. And maybe I was just expecting too much, or maybe this is what AEW is trying to do to try to like really, really pump this up to where they're going to have the Wardlow turn, the pinnacle of MJF and CM Punk, and they're going to combine it all together, and it's going to be this really cool, explosive thing, which I'm hoping that it was. To say that I wasn't entertained by that match, that's not true. I thought I was very entertained by it. I was psyched to watch it, and it was a lot of fun to watch. That last move, that's really what it was. Could that last move have been a cooler move? You know, something a little that really shows Punk is like the super mega wrestling guy, and he knows all the moves. Like, I think like a Serena Deeb would have pulled out a move because she's got all the moves. You know what I mean? Something like that. So that's really the only thing I was disappointed about. So,
well, I think maybe. And yes, all those points are very accurate. I think maybe, and you know, and this obviously it's speculation. Maybe they did this finish as a way of, you know, we know there's not going to be a good finish for this. We know there's no logical way that this could end and have everybody happy. Maybe because Punk couldn't pull anything else off at this point. Maybe that's why they're like, all right, let's do a roll up because he's got nothing left. That's his last stitch effort, right? And again, you're not going to have Wardlow beat Punk because Punk is God to so many people. It's a weird situation, I think. I kind of want Punk to be not the guy that's involved in this storyline.
I don't think you're alone in that. I really don't think you're alone in that. Go ahead, Tam.
I think there's other things.
No, you go ahead. Finish your sentence.
I think there's other things Punk could be doing right now. Like, I feel like he could be elevating other people, and they could have somebody else in this storyline with this thing that maybe isn't so beloved. And so there's not as much of a, well, what do we do with this? There could be more decisive stuff happening and maybe make the storyline a little bit more believable.
Right. So, but on that, if they would have halved the power bombs, it would have been more believable. Like if they just did half of the power bombs, but it was so many, I think is what the issue was. To me, the technique made sense. I mean, a big guy like that, an accidental like sneak up roll up made sense to me, but he shouldn't have been able to move or talk. He should have been totally lights out, like way like 4 power bombs in. So it was the power, no, it was the sheer amount of power bombs that made it unrealistic. And I just think that you should, like, if everyone's so precious and all these gods, well, what happened with the tag team match with the Lucha Brothers? I didn't get my gods saved, so whose gods get saved here? And we should never see things coming. You want excitement. I mean, of course, you don't want to like piss everyone off so that they never watch again, but that's the excitement of storylines, is like you don't see it coming and nobody is so precious. Like I love an upset. I love an upset until it's my favorite person. Then of course I'm going to be on here bitching about it. But but you know what I mean? It's like it's like, who do we decide is so precious that they can have like a gazillion power bombs by Wardlow and still walk away? So, I mean, what I think, like, I understand, like, if it would have been someone less precious, but at the same time, having him be so precious and beat him, it would have been really exciting. And it would have been
an example. What if it had been Cody Rhodes instead?
True. Well, no, none of us care about him. This would have went
completely differently.
Because none of us care
about him, though, and he is kind of at that same level of he's majorly over, even if right now it's in a way that doesn't look like he's over. He's still very over.
Okay,
I agree.
He's still considered
like a wrestling legacy. I really think Cody Rhodes is a good example. Someone else that might be a good example is like well, his brother Dustin obviously doesn't fit this picture at all, but he's amazing. So there's a couple other guys. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that this would make more sense with. Cody Rhodes is the one that jumps out to me the most. But the program just isn't working. You're right about the amount of power bombs. But I think, again, the only saving grace there is that time they had in between all these things with MJF barking at Wardlow.
Mm-hmm.
True. But I hope that they like do something this week. Does everybody feel like something big will happen?
I thought that the last few weeks, I don't want to get my hopes up because I don't know what they're doing with this thing right now. I want something to happen already. It'd be great if they start to move this thing forward in a way so that Wardlow can get away from it. We can start building a new program with him and maybe do something different with MJF. You're right, Rafe. I think MJF's kind of being sidelined on this a little bit, which is strange to me. But I do think they've already done the MJF Punk feud long enough. Those guys went toe-to-toe on the mic. They did everything they could. I don't think they could do better. Short of seeing them in the ring, for like a 1 hour draw match, I don't think there's anything that's gonna really put either one of them over in this program anymore. So everybody kind of needs to move on from this. And the faster we do that, probably the better. Otherwise, everybody in this thing is gonna get stale.
Yep.
I have one last thought on that. Do you think that the reason that they're not focusing on the MJF Punk thing anymore, which we're all like, that was settled, is that it's going to be Wardlow against MJF? Like we're going to see that fight, that match, and then also obviously we're going to see Spears and Wardlow at one point. That's where I feel like they might be building up to all of that, which will be really like, because, and this is where storylines matter, because if we're all in on this storyline and they go against each other eventually, it's gonna be high stakes exciting. So this is why, like, building up, characters and storylines, it makes us more connected and excited. So I feel like eventually that's got to happen, and Wardlow's gonna fight MJF, and Wardlow is going to fight Spears. And I feel like, Punk's not really a part of this anymore. I feel like what's going to happen is that's going to happen.
And I think that I said this last week. I think that this may happen, that Wardlow's going to join CM Punk's faction, and they're going to start a faction, which would make sense if you're looking at it.
It sort of does, but after how many times he powerbombed him, I was a little skeptical of that theory. So we'll see if you get a gold star on that one, Rafe.
Because I'm thinking that, Punk is he's your nice guy now, right? He's your everybody's cool. I'm a good sportsmanship now, right now. Maybe Maybe that's going to
I
happen.
want that for Wardlow.
I do, because that'll make Wardlow that much more famous, man. That's just going to push him that much higher. That he was in that faction, man. It's just like how Jericho did that to MJF. I mean, the same thing.
I mean, look at the possibility of Wardlow doing like a full babyface turn, right? And he's this way for maybe a year, maybe a little more, and then he turns heel again and somehow ends up back with MJF, and it like shocks everyone. Maybe we get to the program with them, and he flips back, and MJF is suddenly in charge again, and they just laugh at everyone in the middle of the ring.
Right. Perfect.
I hope that doesn't happen now.
Well, I don't
the way MGF treats Wardlow. I've been a Wardlow fan from like the first time I ever saw him, right, Rafe?
I don't know that I necessarily want to see MJF and Wardlow in the ring together in an actual match, because you can't elevate either one of them without destroying the other one.
Well, too bad. They got to get better then.
I think there's cool background stuff that they could do in backstage segments, and MJF keeps sending his pit bulls after Wardlow, and I think they just tease it for a long time, and then maybe never get to the in-ring stuff, because I don't want to see MJF get destroyed by Wardlow. I want to see Wardlow destroy Shawn Spears.
Yeah,
I would love to see. We all want
that. That's true.
I'd love to see him take on FTR, in a handicap match. Yeah. And destroy both of them.
Yeah. How I feel about that.
I'd love to see some stuff with Tully, where Tully has to start ducking Wardlow. I think there's a lot of cool stuff that they could do with this without hurting MJF's character and without overdoing Wardlow.
Yeah,
that's true. I agree. That's good.
All right, so if you need any new writers, Christopher Hume is available for you.
I think keeping the bridge open for the future, for them to eventually do something collectively again, would be cool. I don't want to see that bridge burned, because that's a good surprise down the road that nobody could, it might just, we'll all forget about it, and then suddenly it'll be like, oh shit. Yeah. Sorry. Again, I could talk a lot about this thing.
No problem.
We like it. We all want to talk about it. This is one of my favorite rivalries to talk about. So
that's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the CM Punk Spears next week. That's gonna be fun. We'll see what happens there. Anything could happen at that point. I'm thinking with this match, I think anything could happen, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting.
I'm curious to see if Wardlow is going to be ringside with Shawn Spears at the Punk match, just like he was for this. What did he have? He had a match with somebody. Shawn Spears did.
It was a nobody.
Yeah, it was like I don't even remember the kid's name. But that was interesting, because Wardlow was still. He was like, "Oh, yeah, good job." It was sort of like sarcastic, but Spears wasn't picking up on it.
Right.
I love the way they're writing this thing.
It is. It's cool.
With the two of them specifically, I don't know how I feel about the MJF and CM Punk and all this outside stuff. I like the Spears Wardlow thing. I think there's a good program there.
Oh, for sure. So then after that match, we all took a breath. And Hobbs and Dante come out. Dante wins the match. Starks tries to interfere. And then we got Jay Lethal that jumps in.
Right. And where is Leo Rush?
I don't know. He's MIA. So I don't know what happened with Leo Rush, but
I have a theory.
My thoughts on this match, I thought it's always fun to watch a high flyer wrestle a bruiser.
For sure.
What I mean? And I think that the way that they sold this to where Dante won was extremely plausible. And I kind of wish that was what would have happened with Punk. That's a perfect example. Because Dante beat him with his skills.
Yes.
And, he could not beat Hobbs for his strength, but he beat him with his skills, went off that top rope, did that double slam into his chest and threw him back. And then Dante wins the match. I love it. I love Jay Lethal getting involved and getting on Dante's team, especially as athletic as Jay Lethal is. They'll make a great pairing. I'm looking forward to that. We'll start with you, Chris. How did you feel about the Hobbs and Dante?
So you're absolutely right. This is how you do a big guy versus small guy believable story. The move sets were right. Everything felt realistic. Dante is still, there's still something, there's something missing. I don't know what it is. But he worked really well with Hobbs in this. I thought they were both elevated by it. Neither one of them came out looking any worse. It's hard to argue that either one of them really looked better at this point. Except I did see a little bit more from Hobbs in this, where it kind of, you're starting to see that sort of more broad, I can do this, this, and this kind of a thing. Whereas Dante's Dante, we didn't see really anything new from him because he does everything.
Yeah.
Except the faces, man. It still drives me crazy. But I like that Lethal got involved with this. And I want to say Lethal is kind of playing a sort of Cody Rhodes role right now after getting into the company. He's sort of coming out and helping the underdogs for no specific reason. Nobody's really mentioning it. It just makes sense. And there was some stuff that happened with Lethal later too that was interesting. With Ricky Starks and all that. I have a theory about where Leo Rush is, because I feel like this should have been Leo Rush's thing to come out and help. I think maybe he pissed off Tony Khan, because we haven't seen him on TV since he asked for the apology about the whole Big Swole deal. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe he has COVID. Maybe they just maybe they don't feel like he's fitting the story. I don't know. But it did feel weird to have a sub for this, because it seemed like this was where Leo Rush was supposed to, haha, we fooled everybody. You guys are all idiots. And I don't know what's going on with that. So I think there's some backstage stuff happening. Now, again, I love that Hobbs is getting some recognition. I love that they're starting to show him more. I think this could be a great program moving forward. I think he's got a lot to offer as just a solo guy. And like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the Team Taz thing. I don't really get it. I don't know why they're together. They don't necessarily make sense together, any of them. There's not a lot of chemistry. There's the FTW title, which is, seemingly pointless. It's unrecognized. But now that there's other stuff with that happening too, I'm sort of excited about that. I don't feel like Team Taz is actually a team, if that makes sense. I feel like they're just a couple of guys that are on the, it's like when you have rappers that are on the same record label and like they do a song together. It's like, you guys definitely don't hang out, but okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I like the match though. I know that.
What did you think, Tammy?
So I have my notes, and this is what they say. Right in it, even before the bell, Dante's savage. Hobbs slowed him down and takes his time beating down Dante. Good escape by Dante. Whoa! Dante bounced out of the ring and Starks pounced. Desperation elbow strike by Dante. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, that's fine.
Dante got desperation elbow. Is that a move? Dante got his energy back and starts flying around. Whoa, tornado. Jay Lethal helps out Dante, and Dante gets Hobbs for the win. Fantastic. So I guess I liked it.
Yeah. Here's what I'm going to say before we move on to the next promo about the FTW title. I think that's genius. And I'll tell you why. Because it's a useless title with a useless faction that all of a sudden is becoming important, and it kills me. I think that is brilliant. But
it's like the how the world works.
Right.
Most of this shit is useless.
Right. And it is, so it cracks me up. So I do like it. I can see where the hardcore wrestling fans are just like, this is junk. It's like, yes, I can see it. But as a person that's coming into it, like, I watched wrestling when I was between 12 and 15. Okay. So you're talking the 80s people. We're talking Hulk Hogan. Okay. So yeah. And my favorite wrestler was George the Animal Steel. So now coming into it, going forward, we're looking at this fake belt that people are making a big deal about. I think it's genius. I think it's funny.
It's a fine line though, because when you have a belt that's not officially recognized by the company, and it almost is like a fake title in a way, you could really jump very quickly to the conclusion that none of these titles actually matter. This is all just wrestling.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
It kind of without even having to be associated with them, it sort of lowers the importance of all the other titles. Like in an indirect way. And I don't know that a lot of people would feel that way, but it's that's what it's doing for me.
Okay, well, fair enough.
I agree.
There you go. That's fine. That's fine. So then after that, we go to a promo, and it's the Inner Circle. They're getting their award for the faction of the year because they got voted for the faction of the year. And so they're interviewing him. He's interviewing by Fathead, who's what Jericho calls him. And so Kingston jumps in and starts going off. He's looking at Proud and Powerful. He's like, "You're not champs. Jericho's not going to make you a champ." And so then Proud and Powerful walks away from Kingston, and then Jericho gets up in Kingston's face and starts threatening. Thoughts?
I mean, can I just say, first of all, poor Alex Marvez, man. Everybody just shits on him constantly, and the dude does a great job. You know what I mean? Like he's good on the microphone. He's very like he's what you want for an interview guy. I feel bad for the dude because literally everybody just shits on him all the time.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of his deal. He's supposed to be a stooge. He's like Brandon Cutler, you know?
Yeah. So here's how this is looking to me now. Jericho and Kingston are like divorced parents who used to be together, you know, and they raised these two boys, and now they can't agree on what's best for them.
Right.
And I'm talking about Santana and Ortiz.
Yeah.
That's how it feels to me when I'm watching the two of them squabble and literally all the kids left the room.
Right.
Like it was very it was unique in the sense that I don't know that I've seen it this way before, and I don't think I've ever seen like a whole group of younger guys leave a room when the two older guys start arguing. But that felt very real, like, oh shit, Uncle Eddie and Chris are at it again.
Right.
Let's go have a cigarette outside or something and let these two cool off. You know, I like it. I don't really know. I don't understand where it's going. I don't know what the payoff's going to be here.
Yeah.
Is one of them going to get custody? I'm also, as much as I love Chris Jericho, I'm not getting what I want from him now that he's back to after, you know, the Fozzy tour and all that stuff, and he did the cruise and everything, and then he came back. I was expecting maybe a little bit angrier of a Jericho. And I feel like we're getting this sort of like he's supposed to be kind of conflicted. He's a bad guy, but he's trying to help everybody. And it just doesn't feel natural.
Right.
I would love to see him just hit Eddie Kingston straight in the face with a baseball bat and have them go to like a real war level type program.
Yeah.
I think I think it would elevate both of them. I think they both need it to still be considered serious, because I think Eddie Kingston's character, I think they're using it a little bit loosely right now, and they're kind of, he just feels sort of almost Brian Pillman back in the day, where it's like the loose cannon thing. You never know what's gonna happen.
Right.
And like I want to see a little bit more of Eddie Kingston working circles around everybody in his head, because I feel like in real life he's a legitimately smart guy. He definitely understands the business in a way that a lot of people don't. I want more from this.
I think we'll see more develop. I really do. I think it's a cool kind of rivalry, because I think they're really going to pull Proud and Powerful out of the Inner Circle. I really think that's going to happen. I think that's what they want to do, and that some other tag team is going to jump in with Jericho, and that Jericho is going to like find those golden wrestlers as his tag team in the Inner Circle. So, which could be Fuego and Sammy, which could be a lot of different combinations. So I feel like that's coming. So what's your thoughts on that promo with Jericho and Kingston and this little rivalry that they're starting to build up, and their animosity towards one another? Tammy?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I have no opinion. I just feel like I want to see where this goes. I was a little bit like not completely understanding it, but on one hand, I understand, like it seemed like Kingston was mad because Jericho jumped in and finished a fight for him or helped him. I mean, I'm the same way. Like, I don't like someone fighting my battles for me. So, but I would still appreciate someone trying to have my back. But then with the promo, it sounded like it was more self-serving for Jericho to jump in, and it wasn't something to help his buddy out. And I am not emotionally invested in any of this right now at all. So I don't really care. I have
Okay.
no real strong feelings. I like Kingston. So there needs to be something more emotionally involved in this battle, and I don't have that. It's just like if it's like I look at it as if it was I've been in similar situations, even with you. Remember when I had to push you out of the way and hit someone upside the head back in the day because they insulted
remember that.
me? And I personally wanted the satisfaction of righting that wrong. I did not want someone to come in and do it for me.
True story,
So
people.
ladies and gentlemen, I'm old. I don't promote violence, but I have been violent. But in this day and age, I use that energy in other ways. Like I use it as an activist and try to use it for good.
Okay.
But I still want to have my say for myself. So in that way, but at the same time, if someone's trying to have my back, I wouldn't like go off on them in that same way. So I'm not sure. I don't understand all the emotion attached with something that could easily be resolved. Like, hey, dude, next time I got this, and I'll just give you a signal if I need you. Right. But now it's like this giant ordeal, and I feel like I'm missing something. Like, why are they having beef with each other? Did I miss something? Was there something in the storyline where it's been building? Because I didn't see that coming. So I don't totally get it. So I need something more dramatic to like pick a side. And as far as Kingston goes, he's beloved. We all love him. We like to see him. He feels to me like right now he can barely walk. I don't know what's going on. He looks all broke up, and I feel like he needs a vacation. I feel like he needs some time to relax, to heal, and come back badass without any of this other stuff and do whatever he's going to do. Because he's lost a little bit too much recently, and I don't like that. And I think he can do better, whether Jericho's around messing with him or not. That's how I feel about the whole thing.
Yep. All right. So
I think those are some good points.
Those are very good points. That's awesome. But we'll see how that develops. I mean, I think it'll still be a cool storyline going forward, but that's pretty cool. All right. So then after that, MJF comes back out. He starts going off. He says that Wardlow got a fluke victory over an oath, is what CM Punk got that victory. That's what MJF quote. That's a quote from MJF. That
and
CM
it did
Punk
feel like a fluke, so that makes sense.
A fluke victory over an oath, and that he power bombed him into oblivion, which he did. It's true. And then that basically set up the Shawn Spears versus CM Punk. He's teasing. I'll give you the match you want. Everybody wants the MJF match, of course. But then all of a sudden we knew, because there's one more left, we knew it was going to be Shawn Spears. And that basically sets up the Shawn Spears thing. So I don't know. I don't really think we need to talk too much about that. That needs to be.
No, we've covered all of that.
So then after that, we got the Elite promo. And the Elite promo's got everybody in the Elite in the back. They're basically setting up that mixed match promo between Statlander and Cassidy and Britt and Cole, which I think is awesome. They're going off on Brandon Cutler. I think Britt Baker called him Brendan Butler at one point. I started cracking up. So I thought that was pretty great. I love the fact that Britt is in the mix with those guys and talking shit like she talks, because she's a great shit talker and she deserves to be in that kind of thing and doing that type of stuff. And I'd like to see more of that. I mean, you don't see Anna Jay doing anything like that. You don't anything like that. So I love the fact that Britt's in there going sick and making her say. And I think that this match is going to be absolutely fantastic. Chris, any opinions on that Elite promo?
No, but as far as the name thing with Brandon, I love that the Red Dragon boys are calling him Landon too. There's a lot of Brandon so insignificant. I love that. It's I don't need him in this picture, but I'm glad that they're shitting on him a lot, because it is that little element of humor that is kind of needed to make this all feel a little more realistic.
Yep, absolutely. Tammy, what's your thoughts on that promo?
I love seeing all of them, and I just feel like anything I would say would rehash what I said about all them getting together earlier. So
Gotcha. So then after that, we got Adam Page comes out. All right. He starts talking about winning the belt. And then Dan Lambert comes out and starts saying that, oh, there's no disrespect to you, but you are trying to be a cowboy and you're not a cowboy. Right. And then all of a sudden, the Murder Hawk monster busts out. And we think he's going to attack Lambert because he was going after Lambert a couple of weeks ago. And he starts attacking Adam Page, obviously setting up a match between Page and Lance Archer here. Tammy, what's your thoughts on this?
my thought is just that I love seeing Lance Archer again. Woohoo! I love Lance. So I was just excited to see him. Where has he been? I'm glad. I'm ready for this. Excitement. That's my thoughts.
I did not see that coming
I didn't either.
at all.
I love that it was a surprise. Like, that's what I want. I want more of these, like, what? I want that. So, woo, loved it.
How did you feel, Chris?
I'm a little conflicted on it. I love Lance Archer. I'm glad to see him back. He looks totally different to me. I know that it can't be as drastic as it seems, because, like, yes, his hair is like a normal color now, and he's got like a legit fuller beard. But the dude just looked bigger to me. He looked more massive and more menacing than previous iterations. I don't know if this is a look that's going to stick, or if maybe this was a last minute thing and he didn't have time to do his whole gimmick up or something. But it did feel like more of like a, oh shit, who's this guy kind of vibe. And it did feel proper that he could come in and lay out Hangman. But why is Lambert involved? Where did the Lambert Hangman angle start? And how did Lance Archer jump in all of a sudden? That's where I'm confused. Like, yes, it's surprising in a good way, but it's also surprising in a way like, did I miss like 4 or 5 episodes? Like, where the fuck did this come from?
Absolutely.
I don't know if I'm ready for this program yet, because I have no backstory. I have no reason to invest so far, even though I really want to.
Right.
Like, I want to be into this because Lance Archer and Hangman sounds like an awesome match to me. But what the fuck is Dan Lambert doing? I don't know. I don't know
where it's going to go either, but I think it's really, really cool that they threw such a curveball on that it wasn't anything that we were expecting. We were expecting all these other matches first Hangman, but for them to throw in Archer, especially, I've been hearing the buzz on the internet, they're not using Archer enough. Archer's been wasted. He's not on the program enough. He's a better wrestler than that. He was New Japan. He was an animal in New Japan. I mean, and he did all those tag teams in there and wrestled in New Japan, and how awesome he was. And then all of a sudden, AEW throws the curveball, and he's going to wrestle Adam Page. And I think it's cool. How Dan Lambert fits in, that's exciting to see too. I got to be perfectly honest with you. So I think it's going to be cool.
So I have a fun idea that had occurred to me. Back to the MJF Wardlow program. When Wardlow turns, MJF sees it coming, and Lance Archer is the one who comes out to save MJF, and he's his new big enforcer guy.
Maybe.
I think that could work a lot. I don't want to say better, because I don't know where this program's going. But I hope it happens down the road, because I would love to see Lance Archer and Wardlow go toe-to-toe over and over again.
Oh, sure.
To help drag that story out, because I think they would make some great matches, and it would be really memorable. Like I said, I love all these guys. Not Dan Lambert necessarily. I still don't get it. But man, what a surprising.
Yeah,
great. It was surprising.
Then
I see how confusing that would be, but I'm giving them the benefit that they're going to flesh out what's going on in the following weeks. I hope they must do that. And I have always been all about, I've said it several times, Lance against Wardlow would be perfect. So I think, like, but I hadn't thought about it in your terms, Chris, as far as it's because he's part of MJF's faction. So that really would be interesting.
Absolutely.
Although
So
I just hate for anybody like Lance or Wardlow to be under the control of MJF. I think that just bothers me just because it's my personality that I like them and I don't like to be controlled and I don't like to see strong people controlled. So
Right. And that's an element they could build into bringing another guy into the Pinnacle is, listen, I know that in the past, you know, these guys have been your punching bags. I'm not going to be that. But as long as you got the money, I'm your guy. You know, I'll do what you say.
That's
but
right.
don't treat me like a punk because I'll knock your ass out. Like, I feel
I
like
love it.
Now with Wardlow kind of being pushed away and we get him out of there, the next person that comes in could very easily be a different character and maybe change the way the Pinnacle works.
Ooh, I love this. I hope this happens.
That'd be really cool. So then after that, we jump onto the Arn Anderson promo, and then that turns into the FTR versus for Brock and Lee, Big Shotty. That's cool. I like to see where that goes. I can't say I'm overly excited about it, but I think that, you know, all of those guys are really good wrestlers. So I think that that's going to make some good matches. Whether that makes a good storyline, I'm not 100% sure. I don't really know. But I mean, you never know. It could very well turn into something good. But I do think that you know, those are going to be some great matches. That's going to be a good tag team match regardless. Because I like Big Shotty and I think Brock is coming around and he's taken his beatings enough to where I think that, you know, he's getting a whole lot better. Chris, what did you think of that promo?
I'm not really sure on this one. I don't have anything theoretical to say. I don't really feel any certain particular way about this. I want to see what happens.
Cool. What about you, Tammy?
I mean, I must have been high as a freaking kite because I don't remember any of it.
Okay.
To be honest.
All right. So then
I don't remember this promo. It's not on my notes.
Okay. So then we'll move on from that. So then we get into the Sheeta.
For medical reasons, people. I have a license for it. Okay, go ahead.
No one cares anymore. That's that.
So Sheeta versus Deeb.
Deeb comes out, attacks.
Let's get to that. Let's actually talk about some matches.
Deeb attacks and dominates the whole match. Basically, just goes sick, takes out her knee right off the jump, starts beating on her, beats her with the kendo stick. Then the ref stops the match. It's not even a tap out. It's not a pin. It's not a submission. It's nothing. It's done. The ref's like, oh, we can't take this anymore. This is over.
Stoppage. Yep.
Referee stoppage of the fight. And then Sky Blue, TJ come out to help. That was a little side note. They came out to help Hikaru Shida. And then, of course, you see on the internet that, you know, she really took a beating on that knee for that. So,
also on the internet, I've seen that maybe Sheeta's not getting her contract renewed and a couple other things. I'm not sure what they're doing with this right now.
Right. Which, you know, that you know, yeah, absolutely. So, but for her for Deeb to come out like that, she basically came out like a Lance Archer style. Just came out there, beat the piss out of her, and moved on. Which is
now this felt like it was the personal thing that we've heard about over and over again. This time it's personal. This time it's personal. Like Deeb legitimately seemed like she just wanted to hurt Sheeta and she didn't give a shit anything about the wrestling. It was just about getting some kind of serious injury put on her. And I mean, legitimately, those kendo stick shots, from what I understand, hurt like a bitch. They leave huge welts. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, great. It was a great match. It was just relentless. I thought it's awesome. I think it sets up Deeb as being a great heel. I think she's going to be a heel throughout that whole thing. I think she's going to go after Ty Conte. I think she's going to go after Anna Jay. She's starting with Sky Blue. She's going to beat up a bunch of Barbies, which is going to be great. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. Tammy, what are your thoughts on this match?
Fuck yes, I love the brutality. Oh my goodness, my notes. I'll bring them out. Deeb's attacks on the runway. Love it. Deeb's brutal, making Hikaru pay. Serena bursting out crazy good moves. Match stopped. Wow, won by brutality. Deebs goes berserker. Yes, love it. Love the drama. And then was there something between Aubrey and Deebs? Because I don't understand what my notes say. Something about a belt or a beat between Aubrey and Deebs.
Oh, I know what you're saying. She goes, "Get your fucking hands off me," is what
Oh,
she
yeah.
said. She
Yes,
said,
I
"Get
love.
your hands off me."
I can't. Okay, I wasn't sure if my notes said belt or beat, but it says beef. Beef
Beef.
between Aubrey and Deebs. I loved it. I really had a great time with that. But there's something about when people come out and they're completely brutal right away, completely unapologetic, and get that shit done. I respect it. I like it. And I don't know if it's just because my brain is very ADHD. I get like bored easily. So I need that like drama and stuff going on. And I just really love Deebs. I think she's super talented. I love unapologetic people.
Yep, it was good.
But
This is
the only but I have is I'm ready for this rivalry to be done, and for Deebs to go kicking more ass all over the women's division.
I agree. I think it's done. Sure. I think it's over.
Okay.
So I want to say real quick, I wish this is the direction that we were getting with Eddie Kingston.
Good point.
I feel like this is really his personality in a way. You know, start the fight before the match, beat the shit out of somebody. Don't worry about who wins or loses. Let's do the damn thing. I want to see more of that from Kingston because it feels like it's right up his alley. And while I'm saying all that, I wonder if maybe they could do something together. That would be cool.
Oh, yes.
Cool. Yeah.
Super cool idea.
I think Deeb's going to be a great heel in the women's division. I think she's going to kill it. So I can't wait to see more fights with her. I think she's awesome.
And they honestly, they need more strong, badass, unlikable woman gimmicks in this company right now because they don't have any.
Yes, who can back it up?
Who can back it up?
Right.
She's got skills. She's got the cutthroat,
the cutthroat, nasty, super well-trained in-ring technician, but also I'll hit you with anything I can grab. I really dig it, and there's not enough that they need this badly.
Absolutely. So then after the Deeb match, we saw the promo with the Jurassic Express and the Dark Order. Jungle Boy is doing everything in his power not to laugh at Johnny Hungy because Johnny Hungy's so damn funny that he can barely keep a straight face. So we don't really need to go too much into that. The Dark Order is super goofy. They're fun as hell. I love them. I think everybody loves them. Everyone loves the Jurassic Express. It's an interesting match, and I liked it in Rampage, but we'll get to that when we get to Rampage. And it's just a promo. So I
laughed so hard when Luchasaurus did his big growl and then did the tongue thing, and then Silver looked at him and was like,
yeah.
It was like a little flick. It was just so, oh God.
It was so funny.
That guy is so brilliant.
Oh, it was so funny. They're so funny. And they're so entertaining.
Yeah. I think Johnny Hungy's a national treasure.
He is.
He is.
He's the best.
And I'm so glad he's in AEW because anywhere else he wouldn't be getting all the screen time he's getting, and he deserves it.
Right. Absolutely. So then after that, we get into the match. It's Hardy versus Penta. This goes out. Basically what happens is Hardy has a great match with Penta. They go back and forth. They do a lot of flips, a lot of great things. Hardy misses the moonsault. Penta wins. Then after that, Penta calls out Malachi Black. Malachi Black shows up, right? They start going off. And then the Varsity Blondes come out and start kicking Malachi's ass. And Julia tells them to stop. Now we have to keep that in mind. Julia says, stop, don't stop beating up Malachi. Malachi starts looking at him and laughing. Points to everybody, goes 1, 2, 3. The lights go out. Brody King shows up. And I mean, I'm just standing there like, yeah, there was one kid in the back in the audience. He just stood there like this with his arms up in the air. And that was me on the couch. I was just like, yes, the kings of the Black Throne have arrived into AEW. The rivalry starts with the Varsity Blondes. This is fantastic. I love it. The highlight of the night for me, I'm telling you right now. And I cannot wait to see this match between them and the Varsity Blondes. I mean, Brody King just came out and cleaned house. And it was great. Chris, thoughts?
So, do you remember when you texted me when they announced this match? And
Yeah.
you were like, what? Why?
Right.
This is why. They
Yeah.
needed something to set this thing up. And honestly, it was a perfect way to swerve it because I did not see this happening at the end of this match. I was
No.
like, oh, okay, this is a pretty cool match. And I remember texting you back, like, it's going to be good either way. Like, both of them it's going to be cool. And I don't think I've seen it yet. And man, so there's a lot to unpack here. And I'm going to do this brief because I don't want to talk forever. The whole thing with Julia Hart, I'm confused. I'm confused because they left her off TV for a long time, and I ranted about this already. And then now she's stopping the Blondes, who both got their asses handed to them by Malachi already. She's yelling at them, and it's almost more. I'm trying still to decide if it was no, please, he's gonna kill you all, or if it was no, please, I don't know why, but I love him, sort of a thing. It was weird, but good weird. You know what I mean? And the lights going out and all that stuff. And then Brody came, like, by that point, I knew it was coming because they've been building this thing. I honestly didn't know, though, if Julia Hart was going to be standing in there with the two of them when the lights came back up.
Right.
I was waiting for that moment, or at some point for her to grab any one of them and do some kind of crazy stuff off the top rope or something to where, she's jumping down off the ring. I didn't know. I like how this is playing out. I want it to be bigger. I want it to be more built. I want everybody to go into the House of Black right now. Like all these people, I'm like, oh, this would be good. That would be good. This would be great. I'm just really excited. And I hope that it's not a short-term thing where it's like, oh, we're going to push them on TV for a couple weeks. And now they're just a faction that hangs out and fights, once or twice a month. I want to see this be a huge deal.
Let's hope it is.
Other than that, I was happy to see Penta. Because, I sort of thought we weren't going to have either one of them on TV for a little bit. And I'm glad that they're just keeping him doing his solo program at the time. I hope they continue that because Pentagon is amazing. He cannot be on TV enough, in my opinion. I hope Rey Fenix is doing well. But this Malachi Black, Brody King, the Kings of the Black Throne, is that what they called it? It's all very, very compelling stuff. And I don't want AEW to do like a watered down version of this. I want them to go like full mythology, full, like, give me some huge long backstory about how this is some kind of family-like bond. I want it all. I really do. I want this thing to go on and just be epic, and I hope it is.
Tammy.
That's it.
So before all of that, just a couple notes I have just from the Penta versus Hardy match was I thought it was good theater with the catchphrase battle because they were going back with their catchphrase battles, right?
That was fun.
And I thought that was kind of fun and good theater and entertaining. So I just wanted to mention that. I thought it was an energetic, great match. I would have never have thought to put these two together, but it was really a good match. And then I put Penta versus Malachi. Yes, that would be awesome. Even though I love both of them, but so what? That's okay. May the best person win. And when I put yes, Julia stops Griff. What? And then Brody, wow, so I was really excited about all that. So those are just my notes, but my thoughts based on our conversation we're having now is, yes, I am invested because I am very interested in a lot of this mythology, in my other life as an artist, those symbols come up a lot. I mix a lot of those archetypes and symbols in a lot of the artwork I do, and I take a lot of that stuff very seriously. And it's one of the reasons why I love House of Black, because I can relate to it on some level. So in my genealogy, my father's grandmother was from Denmark, so I have a lot of family that is Nordic and Norwegian and things like that on that side. So, ancestral kind of connection and stuff, if I choose to enjoy that, and I do. So, but I do think it needs to be done with care, and it needs to be done with the right amount of good drama. This is just a perfect setup for really rich drama, because when it comes to like matters of the soul, like the dark night of the soul and decisions you have to make about who you are, that's really what I feel like House of Black represents. It's really like the deepest mirror to your soul about who you really are. I mean, we've all like had the metaphor of having temptations in our life to go one way or the other, and then you have to really reflect on who you are and what your values are and what you stand for. So I feel like House of Black brings out who you truly are. So that could be really interesting to see who the wrestlers truly, really deep down inside the core of who they are, and to embrace that, because nothing really is good or bad, in the long run. So, and to truly embrace your own nature, and then to use that nature to go in and like be excellent. So like there's all these storylines over time that you could use. And so I'm really excited about the possibility of that. But like, who's writing the storyline here? Like, do they think about those kind of things? I don't really know. But if you do, there could be a lot. And like, so many humans can relate to those journeys subconsciously. So it could be so cool. And then just to have all this like dark badassery, which really isn't dark. Dark is connected to light. You cannot have one without the other. So that creates even more cool storylines with faces and heels and all kinds of things. So I, like Chris, am very excited, but I hope that they do it with care, and it isn't just like, oh, they're House of Black, they're a gimmick and they're on the side there and they show up every now and then,
Exactly.
like.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
And so real quick, I want to skip ahead one thing, because there was that Pac segment right after the next match.
Yeah.
Is he getting pulled in too? Because the way you just described everything, Tammy, fits the things he was saying. Like, I see more clearly now than ever, and all these things. Like, I expected this to feel like it was going to be, I want revenge, and it feels more like a thank you and like a love letter. I'm digging it.
But Pac had the tarot card that said justice on it. So
right.
You have to keep that in mind.
But what does that really mean, though? That could be interpreted multiple ways.
So I looked at it. Obviously, you can look at it in two ways. It's easy to look at it in two ways. One, Pac joins the House of Black, or two, Penta and Pac go after Brody and Malachi.
Which is something that would be easy for them, because Pac and Penta have done the tag team thing.
They're in the Death Triangle.
Yeah. A lot of this stuff would make sense. Yeah.
So, with that being said, I'm very curious about where that's going to go with Pac, because I think Pac is one of the best fucking wrestlers out there, dude.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's so great. I mean, period. So so we'll keep up.
That
we'll
is
keep
an
our eye on
interesting
that.
point. That'll be interesting. That could go a lot of different ways depending on how you interpret it. Because there's still unfinished business with Pac and other people too.
Right.
Yeah. Right. But I think with his involvement in this storyline, either way, whichever way they do decide to take it, I think there's some good fruit there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's gonna be good, but again, they have to treat the House of Black seriously and do it justice.
I think that they will. I think they've got a lot invested in it, and I think he's such a big name now that I think they'll move it to the right way. So then after that, we had which I really thought was bad, was with the trio match promo with Statlander, Velvet, and Legit, and they kind of like tried to play up their beef together. Okay.
My battery's about to die, so while you're talking, I'm just gonna plug in. Okay.
All right. So anyway, that wasn't even worth. They obviously need to get some more practice on their promos.
Yeah,
They're
it's
great
not
wrestlers,
working.
but yeah, it's just doesn't seem to be working well for me. And then after that, we had the match between the Acclaimed versus Bear Country. Now, I thought that this was a fun match. I thought it was pretty cool. Acclaimed steal the win. Then Sting and Darby Allin attack them. Breaks his boombox with the bat, which I thought was totally cool. And pushes this storyline, which is interesting where we're going with this, but that's cool. I think they're going to be good matches anyway. I'm glad to see Bear Country on the big show. Always glad to see them. They're great wrestlers. They lift up their partners very well when they wrestle against them, and it's a blast. And so, and I guess that's like 33 wins for the Acclaimed. They're trying to say that they've got the numbers to challenge for the belt, which I think is very true. I mean, if Tony Khan wants to do the stats, I mean, the stats got to be the stats, and you got to give the people that have the stats the chance. So, what did you think of this match, Chris?
So you kind of covered it there. It was a good match. It was very entertaining. I love Bear Country. I kind of wish that they didn't have to get sacrificed in this way, because for them being on TV, I want to see them win a couple times, but they make everybody look good. And I think that's that might be the most important note from this whole segment, is how well Bear Country does a job.
Right.
I mean, they're so good at making all of their opponents look fantastic without looking like they suck.
Yeah.
They definitely got some of their shit in too, so that was cool. So my notes on this, honestly, were great ring work, good lead in, but then I have Darby and Sting come out. This feud is kind of weird. Because I'm not super behind the Acclaim versus Sting and Darby Allin.
It's weird. It is.
It's not like Sting and Darby Allin are in line for the tag championships right now. So that motivation and we deserve a tag title. Yeah, you do. Acclaim deserves a tag title shot, but what the hell did Darby and Sting have to do with that? And it also led to that really stupid video that came on Rampage, I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the Acclaim though now, so I wanted to see something better, I guess, for them. I think the Sting and Darby thing, I'm getting a little frustrated with it now, and I love both of them, but I'm tired of the snow. I'm tired of the not talking. It's been done by Sting himself over 20 years ago for a very long time. I'm ready to see something else happen with this. I don't know where we're going, really. And I hope it's okay.
Acclaimed versus Bear Country, Tammy.
Was that on Dynamite?
It was.
Okay. Hold on. I have notes. Okay. I thought there was lots of energy from everyone and great match. I love Bear Country, so I'm always biased. So I really love Bear Country on the main stage, and I thought Acclaim did well.
Yeah, that's really what you can say about it. And then it sets up the match for Darby Allin and Sting. So
yeah, I mean, that's all my notes. It says it's fun. Lots of energy from everyone. I really enjoyed that match. It was not a match I think I would have come up with on my own, but I thought everybody gave their all, and it was just good to see Bear Country on Dynamite. I really like that.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Oh, cool. And then after that was the Bastard Pack promo. Where he was holding the card. So then we had the Idolo promo with Hardy, where Idolo says, we're going to talk business here. Hardy leaves Private Party behind and says, hey, let's go back in the room and let's have a talk about taking care of some business. So
and leading into that, Hardy was saying, I need to focus on me. I need to stop worrying about these guys and the rest of House Hardy. And I was like, yeah, you do, Matt. What are you doing? You've been just being a manager for a while, it feels like. Go and do something for yourself. I was excited about that. And I love Private Party's reactions to all
Yeah.
these things.
They're all like, huh? A what? So I
They're
thought
entertaining.
that
I
was
Like, I
really
know
cool.
he ain't talking about us. Yeah,
I know.
it's good.
No. So I think
Shots. Okay,
I
go
think
ahead.
it's good. I think it's going to be really fun to see where Idolo and Hardy go. And I think obviously Hardy's brother is going to come in here at some point. Jeff Hardy's going to come in. So that'll be a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
So once Hardy's brother comes in there, that's another great tag team. It seems like AEW has nothing but tag teams, but that's awesome. And so what did you think of that promo, Tammy?
Didn't we already kind of talk about it?
Yeah.
Or oh no, we didn't. We talked about the pack one.
No, we're talking about
I don't have
Idolo.
anything to add. Whatever
Okay.
you said was good. I
Cool.
mean, I think I feel the same way. I'm not gonna waste time.
Nice. And then
I tell you one thing, I wish they would have revisited it while they were in a room somewhere talking, because I want to be a fly on that wall and hear what these two are concocting. Because
True.
right now, I don't see really a storyline that makes sense moving forward for them as any sort of working relationship. So I want to know what that's going to be, because I'm very impatient.
Yeah, they're both about money, so I'd have to do something with something that makes them both some money. That's
Yeah,
all I
right.
know.
So then we get into the final match of the night, the Guevara versus Garcia, Sammy Guevara versus Daniel Garcia, with Inner Circle and Kingston on the side. 2.0 attacks Kingston and Jericho. Sammy wins the match, mayhem in the ring, and then there's the beef with Jericho and Kingston at the end. Christopher, thoughts?
Kind of the same thoughts I had about the promo that they did. I need more from Kingston versus Jericho. I need some stakes. I need some real no fucks given attitude from Kingston on this. I don't know why he keeps holding back, if that makes sense. He doesn't hold back with anybody else. Why is he just not trying to beat the shit out of Jericho every 2 seconds? And why is I just really don't get it. Like, why is this program even happening, really? I'm starting to think that maybe Jericho might be stepping away a little bit and doing less in-ring work. And so they might be trying to write him off of TV a little bit. And that's a very plausible future destination for this thing. I don't know that I care, though. It's I don't know. It seems a little clustery to me. I don't know.
We'll see how that goes. Tammy, thoughts? Any thoughts on that?
So as far as the promo goes and Jericho stepping back, that makes complete sense. He does a lot of other stuff. But and he's getting up there and probably doesn't, I don't think he wants to do as many matches, but we all need to see.
And I don't know what's left on his contract at this point either, because he's been around from day one. He was like one of the first big signings they had. And I can't imagine his contract was any more than 3, maybe 5 years. So I don't know.
He's an amazing announcer. I love when he's on at the table. I mean, I just
Really
think
good
he's
on
so
commentary.
colorful and energetic with his announcing, and we all need to sing the song with him. So he needs to do a couple matches a year just so we get that. But as far as like the match between Guevara and Garcia, this interim bullshit, like, let's just be done with it. It's a bad mark on the record here. Like, nobody gives a shit. It means nothing. It was stupid. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, writers, with you all, but like, come on, there's so many more creative ways, whatever your issues are behind the scenes, that you could have wrote all this. And the thing is, with like, you know how much I don't like Garcia, you know how much I love Sammy. So this, like Rafe said, this is a dream match, but I just didn't feel satisfied. I feel like Sammy needed to hang out with Deebs a little more and been way more brutal with Garcia. Then I would have had the satisfaction I've been looking for. You know, I hate when Garcia yells. I hate the look on his face. And I just feel like Sammy could have been more brutal with him. Like, then I would have been like all about it, but it was like not brutal enough. And this whole like interim tag, like, what is this?
Yeah.
TNT champion?
Yeah.
Come on, it's all bullshit. Like, let's just be done with it. And next time, hang out with Deebs behind the scenes a little bit more and come out and just beat somebody's ass, especially Garcia's. He's a total dickhead. He's a great heel because he's so unlikable and he's vicious. So you need to be equally vicious if you're a champion. And that's how I feel about it.
There you go. I had no feelings either way on that match. It just seemed like, okay, they almost felt like filler to me, but
Yeah. And I
you-
think really it might be because we still don't have Cody back yet, and they're not really sure what they're doing with this interim shit.
right.
It does feel very thrown together though.
It was very thrown together. We'll see what happens.
But this
Okay.
is the thing. It doesn't matter. So I teach little kids improv as one of my many crazy things that I do. Okay. Those improv kids could have improved their way into a much better scenario than that. It's really not that difficult. If you are a creative person and you're on a creative team and it is your job to come up with ideas, this was like, and you think and this is the best you could come up with, you need to reevaluate your creative team because there's so many creative ways you could have handled whatever challenge Cody's having behind the scenes.
Yeah. I
True.
still stand behind the fact that they should have just held off on the match at all until
Yes.
Cody was back.
Agreed. Totally agreed. 1000%.
All right,
Love
so-
you, AEW, but we got to tell you the truth, okay? You know,
It's
people
fine.
that in relationships, communication and truth telling is important. Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, trust me. Anyway,
Oh man.
So, Rampage. We move on to Rampage. First match of the night is Adam Cole, baby, versus Trent Beretta.
Hey,
So, basically, to summarize it, Trent was taunting the Bucks and the Dragon. Trent hits swinging DDT. He can't pin him. Trent up on the ropes. Avalanche still can't pin. Cole hits a backstabber. Cole starts stomping his foot. Trent suplexes Cole. Brainbuster still can't pin Cole. Apron pile driver by Trent. Cole hits the sunrise. Can't pin Trent. Cole attempts the sunrise. Trent slams it. Cole 2 super kicks. Trent crunches Cole. Nick jumps up. Outside brawl. There's a whole outside brawl going on
I feel
there.
like you're cheating on your notes.
All the fractions are gone. Then Cole finally pins Trent. That's the end of the match. What do you mean I'm cheating on my notes? How am I cheating on my notes?
You didn't write all that down while you were watching the match.
Oh no, I didn't.
They
I
sound-
wrote it down
That
afterwards.
sounds too good, Rafe. That
I
sounds
know.
too good.
It's too good.
So-
You have to have fucked up weird notes like me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, everybody's got a role to play here. We're good.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Hey, I'm trying to get some of the technicality in it. First of all,
Yeah.
He's
sorry.
keeping the order. He's keeping the order.
I'm trying to keep
I'm
the
just
order.
giving you a hard time.
You know, it's tough to keep the order in the monkey house here. So, you know, that's
Fair enough.
So I thought that was fun. I thought Trent and Cole matched up perfectly. I thought it was a fun match. It was a great opening for Rampage. It's a great setup for the match for Wednesday. Good stuff. I'd like to see the storyline keep continuing, man. Great moves. Trent's great. It's really the first time I've really seen him get down and dirty and wrestle since he's been hurt. So fantastic. I mean, great stuff. Adam Cole's he's just that dude, man. I don't know why. I mean, everybody loves him. He's got that thing about him, you know, just like Britt's got her thing about her, and makes him great, makes him a great heel. And I'm looking forward to how all of that plays out in the future. Chris, what'd you think of this match?
I loved it. I was excited when I found out it was happening because I love Trent and I love Adam Cole, obviously. And I wanted to see them do some work together. Trent looks super jacked. I think he's just getting bigger every week. I'm not sure what's going on. Something has changed about Trent, and I touched on this a while back. I really like Trent now as a character. I feel like there's more psychology with him. I feel like his skill set is improved. I feel like physically he just looks like he's in better shape, maybe healthier. And it was a really good matchup. At some points, I wasn't sure. I thought maybe Trent was going to get the win on this. One thing that really kind of surprised me was how long it took for stuff to happen on the outside with all these characters surrounding this ring. I mean, that was 10, 11, 12. I don't know how many people were out there, but it was a fucking lot. And nobody really started any static, which is unusual in a wrestling match.
Right.
to have that many people standing around just being okay and not doing anything that they shouldn't be.
Sure.
But when it did happen, it was like, okay, cool. And then it was over. And I was like, oh man, I wanted to see some crazy shit happen. I wanted to see everybody get in the ring and people throwing people out and somebody go over the guardrails. So that was okay. It was a little underwhelming, but the match itself was fucking awesome, I thought. I don't know. I really like this whole storyline. I really do. I love best friends. I love everybody that's involved in this whole whether you want to call them the elite or whether you want to call them the super clique or whether you want to only talk about, and Adam Cole in that promo, the whole A New Era thing that he did on Dynamite, you heard the pop that got. There's a lot of obvious stuff that people, anybody who's been watching wrestling for a couple years can figure it out pretty quickly, that they're very aware that they're playing with these lines. I think it's clever and I think it's not too overdone, which is cool. I don't know. I really like this. I want to see more of it. I'm going to say that every time they have all these group of people on TV. So yeah, no complaints.
Tammy.
So I thought I saw some interactions outside the ring and even noted that they were fun. So we saw
there was, it just
didn't happen
long time.
It happened at the end.
I liked what I did see. I thought there was a lot of fun stuff going on, but yeah, you're right. It didn't happen right away. I thought at first I was like, oh, it's a decent match, but then it kept getting better and better and better by the minute. So I really enjoyed it. And I'm new to Trent, so I really enjoyed seeing Trent in action. And then my note says boom on Beretta, and I just put, even though she wasn't involved, that Britt adds a lot to this faction.
She does. She really does. She was shit talking Trent at one point before he went to the outside while all the other guys were focused on something else. She was the only one up next to the ring, like fucking throwing or wagging her finger at him and saying something. I was like, there you go, Britt. Get in there. Get some TV time.
Exactly. So I did enjoy it as well. I thought it was really good.
Killer match. I can't wait to see all of those guys match up and do this whole thing. Bobby Fish, everybody. I want to see everybody matching up against the best friends and like really playing.
I'm excited about this. This is something really cool. Like redeemed the following week for me.
It's kind of like
really exciting and fun.
It reminds me of the nerds versus the jocks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very much.
Like in high school, it's like a high school rivalry. It almost feels like.
And that is
like the popular kids versus the nerds.
Exactly, and that's why I love the best friends so much. I think is they have that kind of like loser outcast kind of a vibe, and I dig it. Yeah, and obviously, they're super over too. So
they are.
I think it's fantastic. You're absolutely right, though. It is very much like the cliquey kids versus like the weirdos and the freaks, if you will.
It's great. I mean, I love it. So I think it's good for television. I think it's good for younger viewers. I think it's great. I think it's fun. So then after that, we had the Thunder Rosa versus Mercedes Martinez promo. She's the OG badass, so Mercedes Martinez. So that's going to be fun. I can't wait to see that match. I know that they have wrestled before in the past in the indies. So they have ring experience with each other. And I'm looking forward to it. I think they're going to have a good match whenever that match happens. They didn't say whether there's going to be a match or not. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. So Tammy, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I was a little bit high during that. I only caught bits and pieces at the end.
Chris? so we move on.
So my written note on this is not sure if I'm excited.
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
The promo was a little weird to me. Mercedes Martinez with the whole OG badass thing. To me, that means like you've been in the game a long time and people know who you are and you're there to take you're just whooping ass all day long. I don't feel like she's got enough, especially in AEW. She doesn't have nearly enough history to be saying things like that, especially to Thunder Rosa, who is the OG badass right now in the women's division outside of Britt Baker. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Well, I mean, it should be fun. So then after
Yeah.
that, we get into the Shawn Spears versus Andrew Everett match. This is a quick pin to C4. Then Spears basically starts doing his promo. Wardlow comes out, and he's basically saying that Spears has the experience and he deserves it. He's a 20-year wrestler. And the crowd starts chanting Wardlow. I don't know if you all caught that or not, but they started chanting Wardlow. Spears basically ignores it and then insults Wardlow and says that calls him a one-move wonder. And then that sets up the challenge versus CM Punk for the next week. Chris, thoughts?
I don't think that was necessary. We already had enough seeds sprinkled on this thing this week. I didn't need that little bit of nonsense. However, it reminded me how good Shawn Spears is cutting a promo. I mean, he sounded legit, and a lot of what he said made a lot of sense. And the fact that he was like, I don't care if you guys like me. I don't care if I'm over. I don't care if I'm winning or losing. He's fully aware of his position in the company. And it's pretty rare that you see somebody that doesn't get any recognition say they don't give a shit. So that was cool to me. The Punk promo part was good. The shit he said about Punk was legit too. And those guys, I'm pretty sure, have crossed paths before somewhere. The thing I'm looking forward to most here is what happens with Wardlow while this is going on. I don't really give a shit about Punk versus Spears, but I do give a shit about what that means for the rest of the story. That's it.
Tammy.
Are we talking about the match or just the promo? I don't understand.
It's basically was a match that turned into a promo.
That
Oh.
match was a throwaway match. It was so
It
short.
definitely was. Yeah.
And
So I
Spears
don't
just
know.
murdered that dude. So
Yeah. It was, yeah. I thought it was quite an intro for Spears. That was like more of a big intro for him. And I thought Andrew Everett looked like he could have had promise, but it was like lights out and too short all of a sudden. So yeah, it was definitely all a goal for shit talking by Spears towards CM Punk and all of that for the promo. So I don't think I have anything more to add. I think Chris, you were really good at describing all kinds of different facets of that promo, and I have nothing more to add.
There you go. Then after that, we come to the Acclaimed video that disses Sting and Darby. Okay, that's cute. I think it's going after a younger generation. It's fun. I'm glad the Acclaimed are more involved in things. I don't really have much more to say about that video, except it was entertaining, made me crack up a little bit. And that was about it. Tammy, what's your thoughts on that video?
I don't remember it at all.
Chris?
Again, I must have been pie. I don't know.
I'll break it down real quickly. The content of the song was trash. It could have been better. The fun part of it was seeing what's his name? Not Max Caster, the other dude. What's his name?
Bowen.
Andrew Bowen.
Yeah, Anthony Bowens.
Anthony Bowens.
Seeing him dressed up as Darby Allin was hilarious.
I don't remember this at all.
I enjoyed the shit out of that. Who was doing the Sting roll? Who was that?
I have no idea. I have no clue who that was.
That was really bad. I didn't like that. I thought it was even in kayfabe, it's still disrespectful. They could have picked a bigger guy and not had such a shitty wig. And Sting doesn't even really have long hair now, so that part just didn't make sense to me. This could have been really good, guys. Like, this could have been like a killer promo video, and it was just sort of a gimmicky joke. I don't know.
Maybe that's what they were going for, though. That's what I think. It's possible.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a missed opportunity.
I don't remember this at all.
It's okay.
It was the music
Maybe I was
video.
on a bathroom break or something. Like, I don't remember
maybe.
this at all.
We'll check it out later. So then after that,
I guess I'm not good at this podcasting on a subject I don't even know what's happening. I will make sure to watch all the promos, listeners, viewers, however receive this information for next week.
I will say this. The two grown men going through a goth phase thing is kind of accurate in some of the stuff that was the lyrically stuff in the video. where Sting's kind of done everything he can do, and Darby is just sort of stagnant right now. I actually agreed with all that, and maybe that's part of the reason I didn't like it too, is because I don't want to admit those things all the time. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it gets better.
I will see. Yeah.
I love how this subconscious stuff came up for you and during all this, Chris. Now I definitely gotta go back and watch it.
All right. So then after that, we had these Chris Statlander, Red Velvet, Layla Hirsch versus Bunny, Ford, and Rose. This I thought was a really fun match. Basically, to run it down real quick, Stat starts and then Legit blindly tags her in, and then it was Rose versus Legit. Rose slams Legit, Legit tags out. Bunny versus Stat tags herself in, and blow for blow, they start hitting each other, and then Stat power slams her. Velvet's tagged in, and then Stat slams Velvet on Bunny. Legit Velvet versus Bunny. And then Velvet blind tags and runs into Rose. Rose tags Ford versus Velvet, flips into her, tags into Bunny. They work Velvet. Bunny tags in Ford. There's a lot of back and forth. Everyone got involved in the match. And then the big ending was that Legit tags herself in, trying to go against Stat. They start arguing with each other. Bunny sneaks in behind him, slams her, and then Bunny gets the win. Bunny pulled the perfect heel move on that. I thought that was totally pro. I loved it. You're basically setting up this rivalry even more with Statlander and Legit. How deep into the storyline they're going to go with all of this, I don't really know. It was a fun match because we got to watch all of the ladies wrestle, and all of the ladies wrestle against each other and do their moves. And so very, very entertaining, very, very fun. Tammy, what did you think of this match? We'll start with you on that.
All right. I'll pull out my notes since you've described the match completely. Like, I think my notes will probably make a little bit more sense. Again, they happen in real time. I obviously wasn't high or at the bathroom during this because I have full notes on it and I remember it. So let's see. I put Layla starts with her tag herself in antics again, because we've heard this, we've seen this a lot. Then everyone starts tagging themselves in, leaving a weak spot. Penelope is rocking it. Shout out to Penelope, man. You all have to give her up for her.
She's great.
Awesome. She is really good. I don't think she gets enough credit. Chris
Statlander
really tested Penelope with that hold.
Almost broke her neck.
Yourself in battle by Layla, causing them to lose to Bunny. And we all see what's coming.
Yeah.
That's it.
Chris, how'd you feel about this? You're not very excited about it, I can tell.
So listen, I really like this match. The match itself was great. The story behind it kind of sucks for me right now. Let's just do Layla Hirsch versus Chris Statlander and get it over with, because it needs to happen. It's going to be a good match, I hope, unless they keep dragging it out like this. Like, we already know from 2 weeks ago that this is the story.
Exactly.
And it's been the same now. They're not doing anything new, so I'm all for long-term storytelling. I'm not for just telling the same story every week. So I don't know. You're absolutely right, Tammy, about Penelope. She's amazing. I thought everybody looked really good in this. And yes, Rafe, the Bunny with that quick move, very smart. If there's a weak spot, hit it immediately. I'm not too invested in this story. I was in the beginning because I love Chris Statlander so much. And now I'm kind of losing interest. So I hope that they move this thing along quickly and get it done so that we can do something else, because now there's this much more interesting story with her and the best friends and the whole other thing anyway. So yeah, let's just get it over with and move on.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Absolutely. And I think Penelope and Bunny are perfect together.
Yeah. And I think all the women in this match outside of this storyline could have done something better without that stupid part of the program.
Exactly. So then after that, we go on to Scorpio Sky, Paige, and Lambert. They do a promo. Scorpio is pissed off that he's not getting enough opportunities to win matches. I hope to see Scorpio Sky come in and do some more wrestling and get some shots. They're kind of pushing him to the side. He kind of complains that there's a lot of hierarchy in AEW, and that's why he's not getting the matches that he wants to get. I mean, he basically lays out his record for him. He hasn't been pinned in 800 days or something ridiculous like that. And they're not giving him a shot and I agree. I think that Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are excellent wrestlers and they need to be in that mix. So I hope that they push this promo and they get something good going with whoever. I mean, if it's going to be the Inner Circle, great. If it's going to be Cody Rhodes, great. I think they need to be in there, man. I want to see them wrestle more. That's really my opinion on this one. So what do you think, Chris?
I agree with all that. Scorpio Sky is definitely needs to be in the picture for the TNT championship. If not, maybe the world title soon. Mm-hmm. I said it a week ago or whatever. He's underutilized. They're saying all the true stuff. Now why it's a storyline, I don't know. Why hasn't Scorp gotten TV time? Who knows? I want to see it though. I've already seen him and Cody a couple times. I don't know that I've seen him and Sammy much. So I think that'd be really cool.
Tammy, did you catch that promo or?
I vaguely caught it and I thought, what's up with these guys? They're very good wrestlers, but they always seem to be on the outside and the edge. So it was good to see it. Like I didn't catch all the promos, obviously, but I caught a lot of them, but I just didn't absorb them all. And I feel like there's a lot of them this past week. And I think that was a good thing, actually, even though I didn't catch all of them, but I will. Don't worry, listeners, viewers, however you receive this, I will be paying more attention next week to them. And I think they both seem like outstanding wrestlers. They've always done a good job in the ring. I know that they have like the style and the flair, but I have not really seen them showcased enough. So I'm hoping that promo is really like a start to getting on a path of being more visible.
Yep. Absolutely.
We need them to be, because we have all these other amazing people getting a lot of time and energy, and who are they going to fight that's on their level?
No one really. So then after that, Lethal challenges Starks for the useless belt. He says, "Hey, look."
So this is the turning point for me where the belt felt important.
Oh, okay.
Do you not agree with that? Because suddenly Lethal, he kind of had this underlying sort of historical opinion about the FTW belt, because to him it is memories, it does mean something, and for him it was like, you don't deserve that,
right?
It's useless on you. Like, I like this a lot, man.
Yeah, I think it's cool. And he goes, I want to beat you because you love it so much. He goes, and that's the only reason I want it. It's because you love it. So I thought that was a great promo by Lethal up in Ricky Stark's face. So what's your thoughts, Tammy?
Well, like Chris said, it's not really an important belt. It kind of made it important. It's not really about the belt. It's about taking away. And it's and so I liked that. I think that is a perfect way to handle that kind of belt. So I thought that was the very good development in the storyline. And I'm all about like Jay Lethal coming in, just seems like a lot of fun. So I'm glad that he's getting in the mix in some challenges and some stories that seem like they'll go on for a little bit and be exciting.
Absolutely. And Taz on commentary was gold here. I don't give a shit about Ring of Honor and all this other stuff. I was like, oh man, this is actually compelling now.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It totally helped me with the FTW thing. Like, I felt like, okay, now I care about what happens with it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's great. It put everybody invested in it. And that was the moment that I was like, that belt is genius. This is a genius idea. They're making something out of nothing. And I thought that was awesome. So that was really cool too. So then we get into the Jurassic Express versus the Dark Order. So I'll go through a couple of moves that I thought were really cool. Silver bowls into Luchasaurus outside the ring. I thought that was really fun. Silver catches Jungle Boy. Reynolds flies through, and Silver holds up Jungle Boy, and Reynolds flies through and knocks him out. Silver dominates Jungle Boy through the break. And then after the break, Luchasaurus clears the house, slams Silver on Reynolds. And then Jungle Boy does the German suplex, and then they do the 4-man suplex total, which is Jericho called the total extinction off the top rope, which was absolutely amazing. Silver and Reynolds hit 4 moves, almost pinned Jungle Boy. They did the bam, 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 bam on Jungle Boy, almost pinned him. Jungle Boy whipped Silver off of the apron into Evil Uno, which I thought was great. Yep. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy single out Reynolds. And then Jungle Boy hits Destroyer, near fall, no pin. And then Tope Suicida hits Silver, Luchasaurus pins Reynolds. Fun match. Those guys, that was fun. It was fun. And it sucks because I love them both. And I love the Dark Order. I'd love to see them win, but we knew that they probably weren't going to win this. Nah. But to see the match and to see the competitiveness between the two of them, it felt more like a competition than it felt like a rivalry or like a heel face type of thing, which I thought was really cool. It was like, okay, we got respect for each other, but hey, you know what? We're the Dark Order, man. We're fucking badass too. And y'all need to see that. And I think that was great because, okay, great. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, they're the champs, okay? And they deserve to be the champs, but don't fuck with the Dark Order, man. We're fucking good too. And we're going to bust our ass to try to beat you at some point anyway. So I really thought that was a blast and super entertaining. And I loved every second of that. Tammy, what was your thoughts on that?
Well, I agree with you about it doesn't always have to be about face against heel, and this was a good example of that. Like, I think that's kind of boring to think it's like life isn't like that. There's lots of people that do good things and do terrible things. So it's like this whole feel like heel hate, like blah blah blah. I can't even talk. Heel face kind of stuff. It can't be always all of that in every match. So this was great, and you already said that. So I just wanted to support you on that, that statement. So here's my notes. However they come out, they come out. All right. Jungle Boy, impressive and smooth. Reynolds doing his best, but Johnny Hungry's the star. Johnny's giving them a run for their money. Playing possum? I don't even remember what that was. Who's taking damage? Question mark. Are all connected in the corner? Oh my God! 4-man suplex. Wow! It just keeps getting better with this. This is awesome. Hungy. Fantastic win by Luchasaurus. And a great match by Reynolds and Johnny Hungy. Dark Order had an answer for every Jurassic question.
Good point.
That's it.
Christopher, how'd you feel?
Before I jump into this, one thing that happened right before this stuff, they had some match graphics up. And it was one of them was for House of Black versus Varsity Blondes for next week. The graphic, unlike the other ones, looked to be in like a grayscale black and white.
It was.
Which is unusual. So I mean, I think we know where this is going. But the fact that they changed up their graphic style, I'm like, okay, what's that mean though? Is it just like, oh, it's House of Black, so we're gonna do black and white, or is there something else there? I don't know what it is, but it stuck out to me, so I felt like I needed to bring it up. Okay. As far as Dark Order, Jurassic Express, yes, Rafe, we love them both. Tammy, yes, it was that spot with the 4-man suplex. I like that you called it that because that's really what it was. I called it a cool stack up spot. And I almost called it the totem pole of humor because we've got some very fun personalities in this match.
Yes.
And I think when you put these guys together, there was no chance it was going to be bad. It wasn't that memorable. There wasn't really anything in here that went down that was like, oh shit, or man, this is great, or I've got to watch this again. It was just very good, and we could move on from it. Yeah, I don't think there was never a doubt in my mind that Jurassic Express was going to lose the titles yet, especially to Dark Order, because Dark Order just doesn't get titles unless you're not an official member like Hangman. Yeah. So it was good filler for the week. I want to see what Jurassic is doing next week. I want these tag titles to still feel very, very prominent while the Lucha Bros are out as a tag team. Because right now Penta's got to do his own thing, and he's getting involved with some other stuff anyhow. But I do think that there was other tag teams that could have been involved in this, maybe besides Dark Order. But of all the tag teams that Dark Order could have had, I'm glad it was Silver and Reynolds, because again, the personalities shine through. John Silver is amazing. I really hope that nobody ever stops really loving him, because I want him to be on TV forever. He's just so great. Yeah, I mean, it was fun, but do you care next week? No.
True. But a great match to watch for sure.
Yeah.
All right,
fun.
So entertaining.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much wraps up this week's episode of the All
Folks
Elite
and
Review.
everybody else in between.
Yep, everybody. All right, so y'all have a good week. We will be here back next week to go over everything that happens this week coming up. And we're going to have some cool things coming up on the horizon. We're looking at maybe possible guests. We're going to come up with a couple of games. We're going to come up with a few more things to keep everybody entertained. Tell your friends, download it everywhere, put stuff in the comments, let us know what you think. And until next week, have a great week, everybody.
I promise to watch all the promos next week and comment on them.
There you go.